This is Dr. Chris's Film Dungeon Commentary, and tonight on Film Dungeon Commentary, I am joined by Jeanette from
HorrorMade.com.
HorrorMade.com, which is, you should totally go check it out, www.horrormade.com. Great?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's exactly it.
And she is joining me tonight on this comic book filled weekend, because I just got back from the Boston Comic Con, which the Boston Comic Con, by the way, got sold. They sold it to Fan Expo. And do you know who I ran into at the Boston Comic Con in the Gillian Anderson line? Kevin Barbary from Rock and Shock.
That's so awesome.
We talked about Matthew Lillard, and I told him about the upcoming. There's a convention after Rock and Shock coming up that's going to have a couple of the witches from Charmed.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Shannon Doherty and Piper.
Awesome.
Holly
That's,
Holly something.
Connecticut Scarefest or no?
No, it's Super Mega Fest
Oh, it's Super Mega Fest.
in Marlboro. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to be watching tonight Marvel's animated Doctor Strange. This came out in 2008, so a little bit before the Benedict Cumberbatch movie was even in a twinkling in Marvel's eye. This was the same year that we got Iron Man, so this was the beginning of the cinematic Marvel universe. And little did they know, 8 years later in 2016, we'd have a Doctor Strange live-action movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Tilda Swinton, Mads Malensky is in it, some dude whose name cannot pronounce, who plays Baron Mordo. And I'm not the only one who can't pronounce that dude's freaking name, by the way. So we're not going to get into all the controversy surrounding Doctor Strange, like the whitewashing of Tilda Swinton, the character, none of that crap. This animated movie is actually very faithful to the original comic book, and I really loved it. I think it's a lot of fun. So just as the Screen Gems logo is coming up on your screen, your counter on your screen should say 00002. And that's when you're going to hit play when I say play. Don't forget, this is just a commentary. We're just doing this for fun because we're big horror, supernatural, weird, mystical nerds, and we love horror things. And Doctor Strange is probably the biggest thing in horror in the Marvel Universe besides, like, Ghost Rider or Blade. Of course, Ghost Rider is going to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming up.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's going to be the new Ghost Rider, Robbie Roby. He is he's a muscle car riding Ghost Rider. He's not going to be on a motorcycle.
Nice.
Yeah, so they unveiled it at Comic-Con with the trailer saying "Vengeance comes to Shield," and it shows the Ghost Rider's face coming into image, and then him like flying at the screen, and says "Agents of Shield returns this September." And I was like, "That is gonna be awesome!"
That's so cool.
So they're bringing that supernatural stuff into the Marvel Universe before Doctor Strange comes out.
Yay!
So, but we'll be going over some things about the movie, the things that we know about. It's not going to be filled with like IMDb trivia and weird stuff like that, but we're going to basically talk about what we know about Doctor Strange, what we love, what we observed about the movie, and all that fun stuff. So sit back and enjoy. It's about 95 minutes long, and you want to hit play on your movie now. So the Lionsgate logo should just have opened up. Big, like... Now, did you ever see the Doctor Strange movie from the 1970s starring Peter Horton?
Didn't tell me more.
It came out around the time of the
How
Incredible...
just, like, dark this starts off.
Oh, yeah, totally. The Peter Horton movie came out around the time of the Incredible Hulk TV series. We also had a Spider-Man TV series on, and there was like 2 made-for-TV Captain America movies, which were also awful. One of which was Captain America 2: Death Too Soon, which starred Christopher Lee as the villain.
Nice.
And they don't go through Doctor Strange's origin, like he gets into the car accident, cripples his hands. He's just a egotistical surgeon who finds out that he has the power to become the next Sorcerer Supreme from the Ancient One. And Morgan Le Fay is trying to like seduce him and get him into bed with her, so that way she can help her master Dormammu.
Oh.
Yes, they had a Dormammu in this 1970s movie. He was like a puppet on a floating fiery stick or something that she talked to.
So menacing. The menacingness of puppets. I'm looking up images right now. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing.
The Eye of
How
Agamotto.
Doctor Strange, like, he's always had this very, like, magician, like, American magician flair to him.
Uh-huh.
Yet, I don't know, somehow in this movie, like, by the time we get further on, it really works, you know? Even though it seems rather theatrical. Which I think, because of this one, it's just because it starts off in this, like, just such an epic battle, you know? And you're just instantly drawn into this world where you have these massive creatures of just, no one can see them, and yet they're tearing the city to shreds. Somehow it makes it all work.
There's like more. There's more than just Mordo. In this cartoon, there's like multiple disciples of the Ancient One, including Wong, who's right behind Mordo, who becomes like Doctor Strange's manservant. That was a thing back in the 60s. We had Chinese manservants, as politically incorrect as that sounds today. So I think they have retconned that he's like Doctor Strange's like bodyguard.
A little bit better.
But he still like waits on Doctor Strange hand and foot too. So maybe he's also his doctor and his his like physician, because even a doctor needs a doctor.
Doctor.
Okay, of anything they should never remake Spies Like Us. God damn you if you remake Spies Like Us. And if you remake it with like Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, I swear to fucking God, I will go ape nuts. I will storm the gates of Hollywood with like a pitchfork.
Oh, man.
Did you see the remake of Ghostbusters?
No, but I have heard all of the terrible things.
Yes.
I'm at the point where I'm like, I am not going to spend money on it because I will wait until Netflix, quite frankly, or Redbox. Because I just don't, like, there's so many good stories that haven't been told yet. Why do we have to rehash the same thing and then not even try to be original with it?
True that.
So, I'm like, you know what? Nah. I don't want to give you my money. I'm sorry.
There is no remaking Ghostbusters was the dumbest idea Hollywood has had since the remake of RoboCop.
Neither of which made any sense. It's a really great movie. Like, if you want to revisit the franchise, revisit it.
Like Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh my god, it's the same story, but different characters and done well, actually, because they didn't, like, shortcut or have queef jokes.
Now, did you ever... Oh, God, yeah. Don't even get me started. We got to get off the subject of Ghostbusters, because this commentary podcast will never actually be about Doctor Strange. But for anyone who's listening, there's never been a remake. There's never been really like a Doctor Strange movie. We've had this animated movie. We had the made-for-TV movie with Peter Horton. Not a great adaptation. This was really good, but we've never had a solid movie like Captain America: The First Avenger or Iron Man or Batman. Those have all had their time. Now it's time for Doctor Strange.
I'm so glad. Like, for me, like, I have gotten into comics later in life, so I'm still, like, catching up with so many things about Marvel and comics in general. But, like, Doctor Strange, I actually started watching because of Ultimate Spider-Man. I was like, oh, he keeps making these guest appearances, and he's such an incredible badass. He's just like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. What?
Now, are you familiar with Charles Band?
No, tell me more.
Really? Charles Band, the company that made like Subspecies and Puppet Master movies?
Oh. Well,
that Charles Band. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1992, they wanted to make a Doctor Strange movie with Marvel, but they couldn't get the rights from Marvel, so they decided to come up with their own character called Dr. Mordred, starring Jeffrey Combs. And you watch it, they take away like the doctor part where he crippled his hands and he's a physician and all that stuff. They take that out of the story and they just have him as like the Sorcerer Supreme of this dimension. And he has to protect it from things that we wouldn't understand. And that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie. And it is hit for hit for hit, a Doctor Strange movie. You can buy it on DVD and Blu-ray. I highly recommend checking it out. It is 90s campy special effects, but a great performance by Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Brian Thompson, who plays the alien bounty hunter on the X-Files, and he was in Fright Night Part 2. He was the judge on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know, he's been in tons of stuff. He plays the villain of the movie Cabal.
Nice. That is fantastic.
The Peter Horton movie was directed by Philip DeGuer Jr. Again, this is from 1978, around the time that we had Lou Ferrigno's Incredible Hulk. And that guy went on to like direct episodes of Jag and stuff like that. He had a lot of TV shows, episodes, but that was like one of his few TV made-for movies.
Cool. I wonder, like, this film, the Doctor Strange that we're watching right now, feels very made for TV almost. Was it originally made for television, or was it just like I don't know the backstory on this.
This was direct-to-video.
This was direct-to-video. Interesting. Because it feels like it's formatted where there would be great moments to cut away for television, actually. I wonder if that was initially their plan.
I think it was on Cartoon Network when it came out on DVD as well, but it was definitely direct-to-DVD. Because DC had started their direct-to-DVD stuff in 2007, a year before, with The Death of Superman, and then followed up by Justice League New Frontier, and they were, like, kicking ass in the direct-to-animated DVD films. And they still are today, with the controversial Batman the Killing Joke, which I just did a commentary for. Mm-hmm. But and they have Justice League Dark coming out soon, which is going to return Matt Ryan from the TV series Constantine to the animated Constantine on Justice League Dark. How awesome is that?
That's fantastic. I'm really enjoying like how they're tying everything together. Like same voice actors coming in with like, it's just cool. I'm actually really enjoying this like expanded universe that Marvel's doing.
Most of the Marvel Lionsgate animated features have been kind of a disappointment. There's a couple that stand out, like Hulk versus Wolverine, Hulk versus Thor, which were two 45-minute cartoons on the same DVD. And then they also did Hulk, Planet Hulk, which was really cool. But then they really stopped. They didn't pursue it any further. I think that's probably because Disney bought Marvel.
Yep.
And these were produced by Lionsgate. And then Disney doesn't seem to have any interest in making direct-to-DVD animated movies when they're making hand-over-fist money in theaters with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Why would you... Why wouldn't you put all this money into it?
Yeah.
Great foreshadowing here with that eyeball, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Then on the floor of the patient's room with all the sleeping children. You gotta wonder how much
into the shape of our big villain.
Yeah.
And with his eye at the end there.
How much time has passed when he like cripples his hands and he goes away on his little mystical treat to go find enlightenment before he comes back and fixes these kids?
That was a question I had too, because it felt like years, but but it was probably only a couple weeks. I don't know. Which, I don't know, when we get to Tibet, I'll talk about that again, too. Because I definitely was wondering about time in this movie.
Now, when you bought your DVD, did you get the little mini comic book that came with it?
No, I actually bought this digitally.
Oh, very good.
I
didn't realize it was available digitally. But yeah, the comic book comes with... Sorry, the DVD comes with a mini comic book called Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And it's kind of a prequel to, it's a sequel to this.
Well, what's in it? Tell me a little more.
He meets Clea, the woman mentioned at the end of the movie, which is his like girlfriend, concubine chick from another dimension. And they go on an adventure together with Wong. They battle some monsters sent by Dormammu. Dormammu is badass. He's like as powerful as like Thanos or something. And in the back of the comic book, there's Fahrenheit 666, which is a prequel to the upcoming Doctor Strange, The Oath comic book that would have come out after this.
Nice.
Where Doctor Strange... Did you see Daredevil?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Doctor Strange gets busy with the night nurse from Daredevil.
fantastic.
Yeah, Claire. But the thing is, the
Yeah.
night nurse is like a title. There's multiple people that have it. So not specifically that night nurse. In the Doctor Strange movie, there's going to be another kind of night nurse character. So she's like the nurse for the Marvel Universe. She helps superheroes after they've gotten banged up. They pay what they can, and they leave her clinic. And she even patches up supervillains once in a while.
Well, when you're practicing healing, you kind of want to just heal everybody, even if they are bad guys sometimes. That makes sense. Unless you're Doctor Strange at the beginning of this. He's like, this is messed up. I don't want to help anybody.
Just want to be a
Not
douchebag the whole time.
He really is. I do enjoy his journey as a character throughout this movie. Like, they did a really good job of making you, like, feel for all of these characters. This part with the mom crying was just like, it tore at my heart a little bit there. A little bit. That and this part.
That's her.
Like, it's great.
That's the girl.
So, she's definitely his sister, right?
Yeah, that's, I believe, his sister. Like, the reason why he
Okay.
became a doctor. Because his sister was really sick, and he couldn't save her life.
Yep. Because, like, from that picture, I was like, oh, girlfriend. And then this next scene was like, oh, not girlfriend.
Nope.
Not at all. But this part made me laugh. It just totally seems like something that I would have done to my little sister, actually. I made your face better. You're a prick. Yep. But at least in this time, he's the happy kind.
Yeah.
It just makes sense, Like, this is what motivated him.
To become a doctor?
This is what changed him, yeah. But, like, in the beginning of this movie, one of the things about the animation that I kept, like, just fixating on was the eyes. And as you see, and especially this part, whenever you see Doctor Strange's eyes, they seem so dead. They're, like, half-lidded, and there's just no spark in them. And for a while I was like, that's so weird. Why does he have such dead eyes? And then later on, his eyes became more alive. And it was just a really clever, like, animation trick that they did to show just how, like, look at this. He's just, like, half-lidded and angry. And then as it gets further on, they, like, liven up. And then you feel for him again. And obviously, he's become more connected with what's happening.
Did you see that picture of Benedict Cumberbatch at the comic book store dressed in the Doctor Strange costume?
Isn't that amazing?
And he's holding up a picture of, like, he's holding up the copy of the Doctor Strange The Oath.
I want to look at that again.
Because there's, like, pictures of him and the actor playing Baron Mordo running through the streets of New York, and it's just it blew everyone away when he went into the comic book store and was like, "Oh, hey, do you have a copy of Doctor Strange?" And everyone's like, "Is he drunk?"
Yeah.
And they did an interview with the guy who was working the counter at the time when Benedict Cumberbatch comes in, and he did say, he's like, "I was thinking that I was worried he had been drinking." How many times do you see an actor playing a character come into a comic book store as that character? They don't go out in public in those costumes.
No, they're not allowed to, usually.
No, their agents like, that's career suicide. George Reeves did that.
Yeah. Although, I feel like that's changing because of how powerful social media marketing is. Like, they totally tapped into that with Suicide Squad, where they just kept, quote, leaking set photos, but, they probably had some PA on set taking, like, photos of the actors with their cell phone and then getting those approved and then, quote, leaking those photos, which a lot of these, like, if you Google, like, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, you see all of these street photos of him in costume in New York. And I feel like they did the same thing with this, where they're just trying to, like, build that hype by saying, here's a sneak peek, look how badass this is, now come watch the movie.
Because let's face it, who the hell knows who Doctor Strange is?
Not a lot of people. I'm definitely in that camp. Like, I know some. I know enough to be incredibly interested, but there is a whole world of Doctor Strange, especially with the comics, that I have not even explored yet. But it seems exciting. I think majorly because it's like I love the supernatural and I really love like the magic part of it.
Uh-huh.
And you don't see that in a lot of other comics. Like you get, the big creepy beasts, but not necessarily like we're fighting it with magic in this way. Like this has such a great mystical quality to it that I really enjoy. Oh. So,
You're still a doctor. Doctor
what's
Strange.
up?
Doctor Strange, by the way, is played by Bryce Johnson, who, excuse me, sorry, was on Pretty Little Liars. I never watched that.
I've seen like a episode. It was interesting, but not interesting enough to keep watching.
Death
Sorry
Valley.
to fans of Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, Death Valley, Lone Star. He's just done stuff, nothing that really stands out there. Pretty Little Liars is probably his biggest thing because he was on it for 25 episodes.
Yep.
No. You're still the hired help. Don't talk to me. I still have more money in that little my broken pinky than you do in your fucking whole head.
Look at his like diamond encrusted apartment key also. Nice
Yeah.
details.
He has to go ask that guy for help. Don't you feel like a douche now?
This part, I was like, he totally does. So Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, they have very similar qualities, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
At least in the narcissism camp. At the beginning of this, anyway. I'm so angry at the wrong thing. Also, I really enjoyed the animation quality that came about in this time because there was this great blend of like the hand-drawn look with what you could do with digital, just like Photoshop type things, which I was noticing on the urns a little bit earlier. There's this like great little glow effect to the everything, like this flash. That would have been so different if you didn't have computers to do it, like just like computer-styled artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Look, DNA strand equals science. I love the artistic things we add to stuff to make it look scientific. Oh, his fan's messed up.
Yeah, and in Benedict Cumberbatch photos, you can see his hands have like scars on them and everything.
Yes.
From the surgeries to reset the bones. In the comic books currently, Doctor Strange does have problems with his hands, and still to this day, of course. I mean, you had your hands crushed in a car accident. You know what I mean? They're never going to work properly again.
Yeah.
And another thing is, like, they pointed out that Doctor Strange can't eat normal food anymore, being the Sorcerer Supreme. He eats, like, all this weird extra-dimensional food. Like, it looks like monsters and demons and bug guts and everything else. The magic has, like, changed him so much. and a lot of people don't know this. Doctor Strange is as old as Spider-Man. He's been around since 1963.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's been around for a long, long time. Spider-Man was created in 1962 in Amazing Fantasy 15. Doctor Strange was created in 1963, a year later, from the same team, Steve Ditko and Stan Lee.
Wow. This part's so sad. Don't do it, Doctor Strange. You have something to live for, you just don't know it yet. Great transition.
Is that Wong? Yeah, it's Wong.
Yep. Hey, Wong.
On Spider-Man, the animated series in the 90s, Wong was played by George Takei.
That's great. Really?
Yeah.
I love George Takei. That's so cool.
Benedict Wong plays Wong in the new movie. Rachel McAdams plays Christian Palmer. She's going to be in the movie, too.
Nice.
Benedict Wong was in Prometheus, The Martian, Moon. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I just look like a homeless person.
It's fine. Totally fine. I like how even though he was such a prick to her, she's like,
Sure,
big
here,
enough
let me give you
person.
money, you asshole.
yeah.
But when you mentioned Iron Man, I forgot you said that. Yeah, because Iron Man was the egotistical warmonger and war profiteer, and then he gets a piece of shrapnel embedded in his chest, really close to his heart, and almost dies. And it wakes him up because it's a weapon of his creation that does it. And he has like a wake up moment, and he's also taught by like an old guy,
Yeah.
to help him do it. It's in the original thing, it's a guy from Vietnam because it's during the Vietnam War it happens. But in the remake, not remake, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, I believe the actor is supposed to be from Iraq, the Middle East, or something.
Yep.
Because we're not at war in Vietnam, so they kind of retcon it to a little bit more, a part of the world that makes a little bit more sense.
Definitely. Well, and that's part of the beauty of comics and these stories in general. Like, you can kind of insert what's happening in the world right now to have a greater effect on your audience, like to have it be set in Iraq. That's the war we know. Like, I was thinking about that today. As long as I can remember, we've been at war in the Middle East. And that's
For
just a weird
13
thought.
years.
13 years. God. That is crazy. Not quite as crazy as the city design, which I love.
Now, I love his, like, humble... This is also reminiscent of Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Wayne goes there broken. I mean, he's not physically broken, but he's mentally destroyed.
Entirely shredded.
He was going to try and kill a man and take his own life at the same time to avenge his parents' death. So he decides to go, like, away from the world and gets found by Ra's al Ghul. The Ancient One. Okay, one of the best Doctor Strange stories happened recently.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange sat out of the superhuman civil war, the civil war between Captain America and Iron Man. He helped the Illuminati, which is a group of Marvel heroes, who take it upon themselves to do what the rest of the Marvel Universe won't. It consists of Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Professor Xavier, Iron Man, and Namor the Submariner, and T'Challa, the Black Panther. To, again, do the things the rest of the Marvel Universe doesn't quite know about. We're not talking about assassinations or anything like that, but maybe something worse. They take the Hulk and they blast him into space. And Doctor Strange is part of this. And he believes that these actions, Civil War, doing what he did to the Hulk, then the Hulk returns and causes this storyline called World War Hulk. Doctor Strange unleashes this really bad demon on New York to stop the Hulk. And the Hulk breaks Doctor Strange's hands. he realizes he is just fucking up left and right. He stops being Sorcerer Supreme. He gives up the mantle. He feels like he is not worthy of it anymore, and he believes that the powers that be will pick the next Sorcerer Supreme when it's come time. And he believes it's going to be this young Avenger named Wiccan, who's the son of the Scarlet Witch. He's a gay superhero in the Marvel Universe, very popular character. He hopes it's going to be him. It could be Damien Hellstorm, who's most of the time a good guy, but he's also the son of Satan. He's hoping that it's he's hoping against God that it's not going to be Victor Von Doom, otherwise known as Doctor Doom, who's also a man of magic and science. It ends up being Brother Voodoo. And the writers wrote Brother Voodoo to be the new Sorcerer Supreme. The problem is that nobody else did anything with the character. So in the end, they had to kill off the Brother Voodoo, make him go bad, and make Steven take back the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. And the Ancient One appears before him. They fight Agamotto. The Eye of Agamotto actually belongs to a creature called Agamotto. And he wants his eye back.
Yeah. You keep making me see these horrible things.
Basically.
Give me my eye back.
In the end, the Ancient One appears before Doctor Strange, his spiritual form, because he's dead, and says that, you, despite giving up the title, which you didn't have to do, by the way, we all make mistakes, and you still fought with the Avengers, and you still, protected this world against magical things, and you're still doing good things. You really are the Sorcerer Supreme of the realm, of Earth's realm, Steven. This was just your own test to prove it to yourself. And the Ancient One gives him back the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme, which includes the Eye of Agamotto, the cloak that he wears, and the Wand of Watum, and a whole bunch of other magical powers they didn't have before.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a really great character arc, but it was not necessary to even write if the fact that anybody else in Marvel's offices decided to do something with Brother Voodoo, but nobody did. So Brian Michael Bendis was just fuck it. I think at that point there had been a Doctor Strange movie announced too, so they were like, well, we're going to make him Sorcerer Supreme again because he'll be Sorcerer Supreme in the movie, and that makes money.
Yep.
None of these characters have any meaning to Doctor Strange. This half-naked chick here, the black guy with all the tattoos.
There's so much emphasis on these characters to start off with, they are the ones fighting right now, and then they all just slowly get killed off with zero fanfare.
The only one that we give a crap about is Wong and Mordo, because they're in the comic books. The ginger over here with the tattoos.
You had to mix it up. It's wait, were all these guys at that city initially, and then they just slowly got killed off? I kept thinking that there was a traitor already in play.
Well, yeah, we know who that is.
Later on, exactly. It just felt like he was planning all of their deaths rather than just being so narcissistic and prideful.
Well, there's a new Doctor Strange comic book series starting soon called Sorcerers Supreme. So we're going to have the Doctor Strange book itself and then Sorcerers Supreme.
Fantastic.
I love this part right here. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. That's basically what he's teaching them.
Yep. Just patience.
Oh, he's not a ginger. I thought he was a ginger. Okay, I thought he was black. Okay, the girl is.
Oh.
What nationality is the guy who's sitting down?
The girl is.
The girl is.
But yeah.
Yeah. I thought maybe they had one person from each nation.
I don't know.
Baron Mordo
The
is
girl's black. I think
hard to tell.
they did have a ginger. He died. Maybe, yeah.
Dormammu.
He looks kind of... I don't know what his nationality would be. He looks kind of like the Hun,
Yeah.
So...
Again, this isn't being racist in any way. They're just not identifying the characters very well in the cartoon.
Well, yeah.
So we're doing our best to figure it out.
fine.
I love this, how he's like, oh, I get a bed mat.
Sweet.
Basically. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever worked
then
so
this-
hard that you would just lay on the floor?
Oh gosh, yeah, multiple times.
You
in my
like
life.
you couldn't even make
This
it to
is the
bed. You were
moment
just
when
like,
his eyes like get back their life in them.
I
Sorry.
hope this happens in the movie. I hope he's like this humbled. You know what I mean? Because I love this
Yeah.
part of the movie. I love how he is just so downtrodden, and this is all he has left is a mat on the floor made of straw.
And it makes him so grateful. Like, for every little bit,
You know, he has to use his gnarled, broken hands to fix his life one dirty floor at a time.
I love the scene coming up when he like almost gives up, but then like later on, he's taught another lesson, and then later on, the Ancient One walks by. He's like, "Nope, not giving up. Just taking a rest."
I know.
And the Ancient One's like,
Sorry.
"Why you do this so hard? Let me show you what." Like the Ancient One is not stupid. He is called the Ancient One for a reason. He knows this is the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
He's not just taking. This isn't like Kung Fu Panda, where the little rat guy is like not sure if the fat panda is going to become like the Sorcerer Supreme of the Kung Fu Panda universe.
Well, you can't be sure of the panda, but you can be sure of this guy. But, like, at this point in the movie, it's still his, like... This is where I wasn't sure when we were, like, how much time had passed. Like, daylight happened and an entire wall was broken down. That felt like a year's worth of work right there. And after a year, he gets a blanket. And then... Oh my gosh, these walls back. Oh, Charlie Brown pose. I wonder how long any one person could move rocks before they just give up like that. But you've been using your hands with a sledgehammer the whole time.
Tell me about it.
They're not that broken, obviously. Probably hurt, though.
Ooh. On Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo had been hurt by the Shredder. This is the 2000 cartoon. Badly. All the turtles had, but Leo got the worst of it. There's like a chunk of his shell missing. And he had been getting angrier and angrier, like worse than Raphael. Raphael's always been the hot one, but Leonardo losing control is even worse because he's the leader. And the Splinter tells him, you gotta go. And you're gonna go to the Himalayas and go find the Ancient One. And he meets like this chubby little short fat Chinese guy who's like rude and mean and calling him names and picking on him, and oh gee, it's the Yoda thing where he doesn't know this is the Ancient One.
Yep.
And then he's like asks for forgiveness. The Ancient One's like, it's okay, I do this to everybody. So Leo's away for a while, and then the turtles get into some really bad trouble with Cry, who's the daughter of the Shredder, and it's time for Leo to return. And Leo learns a story. He's like, the last day, whatever. He's like, oh, I need to tell you a story about Splinter. Once upon a time, millions of years ago, I taught this guy and his brother named Hamato Yoshi and his brother Aruko Saki, or something. Not Aruko Saki, but some other guy. And it was revealed that he is the master of Hamato Yoshi, who was Splinter's master. When Splinter was a rat, just a regular rat.
Yeah.
So Leo learns why Yoshi left Japan and the Foot Clan to go to America after his wife, Tang Shin, was killed in a feud between like the Shredder and a couple of things, so... But again, Leonardo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, has that same type of journey where he's broken and he's angry. You know, he had his biggest. They defeated the Shredder, but at the cost of like some severely bad injuries. It's a kid's cartoon, so. But it's a really cool like character arc for him, and again, it just reminded me of like Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Batman.
I feel like this character arc in general says a lot about American culture in a lot of ways, because we can be very narcissistic, and in a lot of ways we have to be in order to like progress in our lives here. And often we as a culture feel that any other culture is a little bit more inward, like you have to look inside of yourself to find some purpose, to find some meaning. And comics are really good at kind of conveying that idea of like, you may be good, you may have this potential in you, but you have to look deeper and you have to accept help in order to actually grow. And that's what I love about these character arcs. And what, you know, like here's the help. Like the Ancient One is like, you don't have to be broken. You don't have to stay broken. Healing can happen, not just naturally, but you have to choose it. And it's just a beautiful concept to me. And now I won't give up.
Never give up. Never surrender. I think that's from Galaxy Quest.
It is. Never give up. Never surrender. God, I love that movie way too much.
Do you know who Sean Whalen is?
Yes.
Yes, he was actually supposed to play the alien in Galaxy Quest who gets killed. And then, you know, the one that's palling around with you know, Severus Snape, whatever, Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed to play that character, but he got another role for something else, and he went with that instead of the Galaxy Quest role.
Oh, interesting. That would have been a different movie with him in that role.
Little trivia tidbit he told me when he came on my show, when I asked him about a role, if he ever turned down a role that he wished he regretted. He's like, no, never regretted, but I was supposed to be in Galaxy Quest. I was like, oh my god, who? And he's like, oh, remember, and so on and so forth. But yeah, he was a lot of fun to have on the show.
Yeah, he's an interesting fellow. And he's been in so many things. It's
I know.
ridiculous.
And he's in a movie called Death House. It's got like all these different horror actors in it. And it's written by Gunnar Hansen. Mm-hmm. And he wrote it and he was going to direct it, but he passed away before they could direct it. So they got Harrison Smith to direct it, who directed like Club Dead and a whole bunch of other like kind of low independent horror movies. Go look it up.
Club Dead. I'm looking up images of Death House right now.
Yeah, Tiffany Shepis is in it, and Kane Hodder, and Dee Wallace, and John Barrymore. You could throw a stick at everyone who's in that movie. They've been in a horror movie that you've known and loved.
Seriously.
I can do it.
I love this scene. He's got the right determination now.
And that's what the Ancient One wants. Because you need determination to become Sorcerer Supreme. Just resting.
Not done, just resting. What?
Judge me by my...
I don't understand.
What's the line that Yoda says? Judge me by my size, do you? I like the new Yoda that we got in episode 7, played by the 10 Years a Slave actress. Do you know who I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. That little orange alien with the 4 fingers. I love her.
Little weird lady with the big... She's great.
Oh, yeah.
I liked her little world. Why am I not remembering her name?
She's got a great character arc coming up. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. I hope she sticks around. She was interesting.
Well, we need to find out, how did she get Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber?
Seriously.
Right? Right?
Lost it in a game of pool or something.
I love the meme of the girl handing the Rey handing the lightsaber to Luke, and the meme says, "There was a hand. Did you find a hand?" I think that hand would be a skeleton hand by now.
Or at the very least, kind of beef jerky-ish. Oh no. And this part makes me wonder, was he just like wandering around with nothing in his hands the whole time?
Probably. That's what I call.
Reasons did not live in New York.
That's what I call some tomfuckery.
Yeah. You know what impresses me about this movie? They didn't montage the whole like journey of self-rediscovery and strength rebuilding.
No.
They took their time with it.
Oh yeah.
And then they still took their time with all of the action-y awesomeness right after that. Like, it's just really well paced.
Okay, have I been paying attention? Where the hell did these girls come from?
They're more red shirts. They just keep throwing in new ones to, like, kill. Here's some cool people! Aren't they neat? Yeah, they're super cool. Anyway, bye.
Now, the story of Doctor Strange is he goes to the Ancient One to find help with his broken hands. The Ancient One says, "I cannot heal your hands. You can only heal them yourself. Stay with me and I'll show you how." And he's like, "Screw you, old man." And on his way out, he learns that Mordo, the Ancient One's prized pupil, is plotting with Dormammu to kill the Ancient One. And he tries to warn the Ancient One, but Mordo stops him. The Ancient One banishes Mordo from the temple and locks him out with spells. And it shows Doctor Strange that he was willing to sacrifice his own life to warn the Ancient One against Mordo's treachery. And that there's good in him, and so on and so forth.
I kind of wish that they had that here. Although it is kind of fun that Doctor Strange is just kind of like the new kid on the block who's just like, "Whoa, what's going on?" Alright, guess I'll help.
Oh, it ate him.
Yep. Screwed. Oh.
Oh, it's PG-13.
He died.
Not rated R. No crunchy for him.
Nope. And no corpses to deal with. And now they finally have the fact that everyone who was working for their team is now pretty much dead. We had hundreds of sorcerers. Now they're all gone.
Warriors, come out and play! Can you believe they're going to remake that?
They're gonna remake the Warriors?
Yeah, well, and they're they're remaking Pumpkinhead.
Oh, that's kind of sad. fact, a film that I worked on used pretty much the same sculpt as Pumpkinhead in it. They just put some bristles on the back and called it a new monster. That was Animal, which was made for the Chiller channel.
When did you work on that?
Totally a new monster. Not a new monster. That was about 2.5 years ago. So I think it came out 2 years ago. It's just the best trophy made for TV kind of slosh you'll ever see. It's okay if you call it terrible, because I think it's terrible. But I made it, and I'm proud of it anyway. Also, this seems like a good idea. The kid who wanted to take over now has to train the kid who is actually going to take over.
Clang, 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 clang. I've taken German longsword fighting.
Yeah?
Yep.
How accurate is this fighting style?
It sucks. I kick both their asses.
So would you say that their form is more like novice?
Yeah.
I would love to see, like, a sword fight that was actually, like, choreographed with actual sword fighting in mind. And then, add some extra flair, because it's animated.
Oh, so do you ever watch Archer?
Yes.
Archer's mother, Jessica Walter, she played Morgan Le Fay in the Doctor Strange 1978 movie.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
And she played the psycho caller in Play Misty for Me, the Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh, I did not know that at all.
Morgan Le Fay is a longtime villain of the Doctor Strange comic books, Avengers, that sort of thing. She, a sorceress, the whole King Arthur legend. She bangs Doctor Doom once in a while.
Nice. There was this really cool episode of Ultimate Spider-Man where she made an appearance, and it was totally Night at the Museum.
Oh, really?
Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah. I've had a hard time trying to get into Ultimate Spider-Man, but I want to watch the Doctor Strange episodes.
They're really good. I'm actually enjoying now that Ultimate Spider-Man has kind of transformed into Web Warriors. I didn't like it at first, but now I'm actually kind of enjoying the fact that there's these new superhero types all popping up in every single episode.
Like
I'm finding it very enjoyable.
Like Miles Morales, played by Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Miles Morales currently runs around in the regular Marvel universe with Peter Parker. He none of that Ultimate Universe stuff anymore. He's in the regular Marvel universe, and he looks up to Peter as like a mentor and something to become one day, because he's only like 14 years old, and he's got spider powers. But he looks up to Peter as like the uncle, the older uncle, because he's been Spider-Man. He became Spider-Man right around the same time Miles did. So they share a great connection. Oh, it's all Kung Fu Panda like. You know what came out recently and which looks really good is Kubo and the Two Strings.
I have been wanting to watch that. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's from the people that made Box Trolls and Coraline.
Stop motion, wasn't it?
Huh? What?
Yeah.
What did you say? Jeanette, part of what you said got cut off.
I don't remember.
That's fine.
Other than we were talking about Coraline and Box Trolls.
Oh, yeah. Paranorman. They're the same company that made Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, man. I'm really glad that stop-motion animation is still around in the kind of Tim Burton-y way. Not like, Clash of the Titans kind of animation, but still, it's just a beautiful style of animation. The Little Prince also looks good, which I haven't. That was another one that I can't quite tell if it's stop motion or if it's a little bit like CG. I'll have to watch it and find out.
Which we see in the trailer for the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange. At the very end of the trailer, you see him walking slowly up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Sanctum Sanctorum.
No? Oh, fantastic.
Dormammu. I hope in the new film that Dormammu is never seen and he is only like mentioned in whisper to prepare us for like a bigger film with Dormammu.
That would be amazing.
The thing is that they've already kind of given us away a little bit about possibly who the villain is. There was a Legos toy set coming out, and it shows Baron Mordo, Doctor Strange, and the Ancient One fighting a bunch of tentacles coming out of the Sanctum Sanctorum, and the only tentacle monster he's ever fought is Kulan Garath, who's a kind of a Cthulhu-style villain.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like... You want to talk about an obscure fucking Doctor Strange villain. It doesn't get much more obscure than Kulan Garath.
Well, then at least they're delving into, like, new territory. Because I sometimes wonder when they take, like, a story that's already been done really well in animated form, you know, how they feel, like, about, rather than just redoing the story, kind of reinventing it, and having a different villain would go a long way. For sure. Otherwise, you kind of have like Thanos and Dormammu. They seem a little similar, kind of lurking on the edges of your universe.
Or it's like in the Iron Man 3 movie. We never actually got the real Mandarin. We got that actor portraying the Mandarin, and people were like, what? No, come on, give us the Mandarin, the rings, the power, and everything. Another Doctor Strange villain, by the way, that has been in a movie is Blackheart. He was in the first Ghost Rider movie. Oh, I'm sorry. So the name of the villain I kept saying, his name is Shuma Garath.
Oh.
Shuma Garath, not Kulan Garath.
I love how...
Yeah.
Ah.
Shuma Garath is a tentacle-like creature. You can look him up. Shuma Garath, Shuma-Gorath. Really creepy, tentacle, badass villain of Doctor Strange's.
I'm gonna look him up.
The last time he entered the Marvel Universe, it took the combined might of Doctor Strange and the Fantastic Four to defeat him.
Nice. That's the kind of villain. Ooh. Oh, he's cool. Also, Shuma Garath is just a great name for a creature-y villain type thing.
And I'm totally going to go out there and buy the Doctor Strange Lego set. I can't believe they're making Doctor Strange Legos. A warrior. The Eye of Agamotto.
Here's a question for you.
What?
Everybody wears one of those eyes, right? Are they all the Eye of Agamotto? Or
No,
is
I
the
think
Eye
they're
of
just
Agamotto
mystical.
just on the
I just think they're mystical amulets. Again, it's got to have been a few months for her to be like, Steven?
Yeah.
You
At
don't look like a
least a few
homeless
months.
person anymore.
That's weird. But the little girl hasn't aged too much, so maybe he's back in the same year at least. These poor kids, man. It's so,
And he's going through there to
reminiscent.
get him out of the dream world.
Yeah.
What's funny, though, is that they're in comas. You think he would fight a villain like Nightmare. Nightmare is a long-time Doctor Strange villain that's been around. You know, he's like Doctor Strange's like Doctor Octopus or Green Goblin. You know, that he's been around that long.
So he's kind of like a main villain.
Oh yeah, he is a main Doctor Strange villain. He hasn't shown up in the last couple of years, but where a lot of fans are hoping that the new creative team will have him return because he's a creepy guy. He rides around on a black horse. He's kind of like the boogeyman.
Nice.
He was in an episode of Ultimate Spider-Man: Strange Days. He was played by Mark Hamill. So maybe you saw him in an
that's
episode.
right. That was a good episode.
And Mark Hamill did the voice, so he sounds like the Joker. Because anytime Mark Hamill does a villain voice, he sounds like the Joker.
Rocking that.
There he is. Again, Dormammu is like Galactus, Thanos, that style level of badassery. The only reason he's never taken over the Marvel Universe is he's never been able to get to the Marvel Universe. He's always stuck in another dimension. But if he ever got here, his powers would be infinite.
Yeah.
Oh, does he become a skeleton?
This part?
Oh,
These critters.
oh my God!
Yep. It's like, you see little bits of skeletons. Like, there's not really much blood in this movie, but that is legitimately disturbing.
They're like
Numbed down to bone.
they're like critters that fly, like flying piranha or something.
They kind of look like stingrays, but a lot more teeth.
Like a hive.
Yeah. Oof.
Sleepwalking children are creepy.
They are! They're super creepy. I like how they, like, grayed out their eyes and everything, too. Dove! Uh-oh.
I learned there is no pain, like there is no spoon, there is no wall of bricks.
Nothing matters anymore.
This
except
this guy's still alive? I thought he got killed off.
not quite yet. It was the ginger who got it.
Oh, okay. The Karate Kid over here is still alive, so he looks like something out of a Street Fighter video game.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. A tree. That's gonna stop him. Don't summon like frozen air. Oh.
That worked well.
Yeah. Don't summon like maybe a wall of fire. A tree.
Tree.
You sucked. No wonder you got killed.
You deserved that.
Basically, yeah. If you died, you sucked in your duties.
There's a swarm of feasting critters, and you decide on a tree.
Pretty much.
Animating that many like separately moving things, that's a serious like difficult thing to do. Even with like computer animation to multiply it like that, it's still That's tough.
Yeah. The actor who plays Dormammu, also, I recognize his name. He plays Ronan the Accuser on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy's animated series.
Cool.
And he was the Absorbing Man on Hulk, Agents of Smash, and Ultimate Spider-Man. So he's got a long-standing voice acting career. He was on Bones as well.
Fantastic.
Oh, there goes the Ancient One.
Yeah.
There can't be much meat on his bones. He's pretty old.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, the others
Oh,
are young and vibrant, you know.
Yeah. Him? Eh.
Oh, he's a bastard.
Well.
The only two left because they're in the comic book.
No blood. I'm not sure what that sword did to him.
Yeah,
Apparently it hurt.
I mean, this is rated PG-13. We can have a little blood. Children aren't stupid, okay? They know people bleed when you cut them. So don't put it in a cartoon and then be like, oh, we can't put that in there because children... They really just think children are fucking stupid, you know?
Children are not as stupid as adults think they are. Not at all.
And we're talking about adults who
Please
make...
ask any kid, like, what's under your skin? Blood.
And we're talking like adults who make these fucking cartoons and these TV shows and movies that are like, oh, we can't have two Jokers on because people will be confused because the Joker that's in this Batman cartoon is not the Joker that's in the new Christopher Nolan movie coming out. And we can't have a Joker running around this other show because people are fucking stupid. They won't understand. There's different shows.
What? No way. Ugh. Your audiences aren't as stupid as you think they are. Folks.
Pretty much.
If you give them, like, a little bit of leeway, you're gonna realize just how freaking smart people can be. And how smart most people are.
Exactly. So he brought a sandbag to a sword fight.
And he's not even hanging on to it. Just like, I'm gonna drop this right here.
Arrgh. He's got quite the audience with all the kids behind him.
I know. We don't even have a choice.
I love this. I think this is when Doctor Strange catches it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not yet.
This part, though. This part's creepy as all get out.
Ah, can you imagine seeing that in a movie?
Yes. I would love to see it. Ugh. That's how you break a portal into another dimension.
With the
By
blood of
burning
children.
through the souls of children.
What are you having for breakfast today? The souls of children. I want to create a breakfast cereal for Halloween time of just the most, like, fucking ridiculous, scariest things imaginable. And people like, what the hell is this? Souls of children. I guarantee I'd have an audience. I'd have an audience for souls of children.
I'd eat that for breakfast.
Every day.
Every day. Sounds like it'd be full of protein.
But what would it really be made of? Like some type of chocolate or corn or something, you know? Like Honey Smacks, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I should totally go to a cereal company and market this. What do you have for an idea for a cereal? Souls of children. Limited time only through September and October and Halloween. We'll sell hundreds. And then what's the follow up called?
I'd buy some.
Souls of Virgins.
Oh man. Oh. Fired. So much badassery.
You already suck at Sorcerer Supreme. You lost the Eye of Agamotto. Where's my soul? It feels like it left me. Oh, there's a little bit of blood.
There's all the blood you're gonna get. That's it.
There's also the Doctor Strange villain. I mean, he's kind of a villain of everyone, but he fights people like Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer, called Mephisto. He was in the first Ghost Rider movie, played by Peter O'Toole. Okay, I met a guy the other day at the unemployment office.
Oh.
His last name was Strange. I was like, oh man, that's such a cool last name. If my last name was Strange, I would totally have been Doctor Strange of Radio of Horror.
Oh, God, absolutely.
Like, who are you? I'm Doctor Strange. Now when people ask, I'm just like, I could be like the Doctor from Doctor Who.
No, really,
I'm the
really.
Doctor.
Doctor what? Just Doctor. But Doctor who?
Doctor Who? Exactly. I don't think they'll allow this much damage to happen in downtown New York in the upcoming Doctor Strange movie.
No, they're definitely going a little bit more on the realism side for that.
A little bit.
I do like that there's consequences, you know, like how you see all of the aftermath, or at least you hear about it in Daredevil, you know, after the event. Everything's torn apart by these superhumans.
Yeah.
Consequences, man. They're real.
Well, Doctor Strange was actually mentioned in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Really? When?
He's on a Hydra list of possible targets they need to eliminate, and he mentions like anyone that Hydra considers a threat: Bruce Banner, Doctor Strange, Nick Fury, and you're like, oh, Doctor Strange. Steve, like, they don't say Doctor Strange. They say Stephen Strange. So it gives an indication they know that obviously the events of the Doctor Strange movie take place, I guess,
During or before.
yeah, before Hydra is found out to have infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D.
Huh.
So, well, we'll see. I mean, they haven't kind of shown us when the timeline of Doctor Strange's movie takes place yet, so... But I'm hoping it does take place before the events of the Winter Soldier, for that little statement to be true, that Hydra S.H.I.E.L.D. has been monitoring Doctor Strange.
If you're gonna go for a united universe, you might as well keep those details straight.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they had Thunderbolt Ross show up in Civil War, and the last time we saw him was the Incredible Hulk movie.
A little bit of a hiatus there.
Yeah.
Romance.
Steven?
I think goatees are coming back in this fashion.
You know?
because of Marvel.
Oh.
That would be so horrifying.
It'd be like a
Actually.
medical miracle that no one could explain.
Seriously.
April Strange. A weird name. God, she must have been picked on in school. April Strange! April is strange!
So strange.
Like the bitch girls would have really fucking made her life miserable.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh. New prospects.
There's your tie-in.
Yeah, that's Doctor Strange's other dimensional gal pal.
Nice.
She comes from the same dimension as Dormammu.
Oh.
Yes, but she's a good girl. Last time we saw her, her and Baron Mordo went off to the Dormammu dimension with an army to go fight Dormammu. That was the last we heard of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What was that?
Sorry, my cat's throwing things. Believe it or not.
See, Dormammu's image looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's it. That is Doctor Strange. Ooh, so you got all these cool images from people that worked on him, like Steve Ditko.
Oh, cool. Now we've reached the end.
Again, if you want to like get into Doctor Strange comics, I recommend the current one that's out right now. Just go ask your local retailer what the newest Doctor Strange trade paperback is, and it collects the first 6 issues of the new series.
Fantastic.
And the second volume should be collected soon. It contains the story The Death of Magic, where Doctor Strange finds out that Sorcerer Supremes from all other dimensions are getting killed off. And it's up to him and like the Scarlet Witch and Baron Mordo and Brother Voodoo and Ileana Rasputin, who's like an X-Men character, and like a bunch of other like mystical characters of the Marvel Universe have to band together to stop these people called the Empirical, and they are going around destroying magic.
Wow.
And they're science-based villains, like all techno-cybernetic villains.
Oh, I love that.
And the
Science versus magic.
the leader of it all, his family was killed by somebody using magic. So he hates all magic. Doesn't matter who it is, good or bad, it all has to go.
That's some solid motivation there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely need to read these comics.
Yeah.
These look so baller.
They're collected in various formats. Like, you can probably pick up the Essential Doctor Strange Volume 1 through 4, and that contains, like, all of his adventures from the 60s and 70s and early 80s. And then his book was canceled and restarted late, like, in the early 90s. And then it was canceled again, and he made, like, sporadic appearances throughout the Marvel Universe. He had one miniseries called Doctor Strange the Oath, and then a one-shot called Steven, What Troubles You? And then, again, it just made sporadic appearances until he finally got his own series again when the all-new, all-different Marvel Universe launched. So, but that's it. That is our commentary for the animated Doctor Strange movie from Marvel. I appreciate everyone tuning in for it. Thank you, Jeanette, for joining me.
Yeah, this was fun. I learned a am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, I've been cursing all night long. It's okay.
I learned a shit ton. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, everyone, please just comment, like, and subscribe to Radio Horror's YouTube channel, and check out the other commentaries we have on here for, like, Blade, and, what else do I have on there? Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I got a couple new ones coming up soon, including Roger Corman's Fantastic Four movie.
Fanforstic?
No, this is the never-before-released 1992 Fantastic Four movie from Roger Corman that you can only watch
brilliant.
in bootleg.
Nice.